Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 76 of the Generic Gaming Podcast.mp3, the podcast where we talk about a new video game every single week. My name is Logan Myrie, and as always, I'm joined by my esteemed co-host and sound engineer, Eric Krause.
I don't even know what day it is anymore, yo?
Yeah, are you totally out of it?
Yeah, we were setting up, and I got up and got water. I'm like, what day is it? I'm like, oh, this has to go up tomorrow.
That's really funny. I also have been feeling that. I called my mom today, and she was like, "Oh wait, Logan, I'll call you back or whatever. I have someone in my office." And I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, you're at work, huh? Like,
Yeah.
this is a Wednesday."
Yeah, people are outside. Some people, at least, are doing things. Other people shouldn't be outside.
Yeah, I had to go outside to vote on Tuesday because we live in Wisconsin. And let's just say I'm thoroughly terrified, and it was an awful experience, and I can't believe I had to go do it.
Yeah, I'm glad I filled out an absentee ballot, so I'm really glad I didn't have to participate in that. I mean, it could have been worse because you came here. Was it raining when you went to vote?
No, it wasn't. No,
Oh,
it wasn't
okay,
too
yeah.
bad.
I know.
In Menominee, there's not, as far as we know, not a ton of cases and stuff, but it was really scary, and no one was wearing masks, and everyone was a little too close together, and I was very uncomfortable the whole time.
Yeah, we live in a Dunn County, and there's only 10 cases last time I checked in the county we live in.
Yeah, so I wasn't too worried about that, but
yeah,
we'll see. Anyways, Eric, this is not a COVID-19 podcast. This is a gaming podcast. What have you been playing?
we've been playing this game called Call of Duty Warzone. Don't know if anyone's heard of that.
Yeah, dude, I've had a ton of fun, a surprising amount of fun playing Warzone. And you know me, I'm not a multiplayer guy, right? I don't play online games.
Yeah.
But just because we've had the time, right? We've squatted up with our friend I Blame My Rolls from the twitch.tv/LateFromBargo community. And that's been super fun. And we were playing with our friend Drew today, and we got a win.
Yeah, we got a W on our first go.
Dude, it was super exciting.
They released quads for it with the newest update or season. I don't know. I haven't really kept up with this game. But yeah, so we jumped in with him and his friend. Our first run, we got a W. So I'll take
dude,
it.
it was pretty exciting. So I'm excited to keep playing that game. I've had a surprising amount of fun.
Yeah.
And I'm not really a battle royale guy either. I didn't play a lot of Fortnite or Apex anything, so I just don't even know what it is. Maybe it's just that everyone else is playing it right now. I've had a ton of fun with it.
Yeah, I'm not a really big battle royale fan either. Not with the shooters. And I was even having it a little bit when we first started playing this, is where I don't like how long it takes sometimes to get into the action. But with this one, because the TTK is so low, I feel like it's actually really satisfying once you do get the action, because it's super quick.
Yeah, it's just tense the whole time, right? And then you're sneaking around and trying to gain loot and stuff, and then you finally see someone, and it's just this, adrenaline filled, battle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been super fun.
What was that?
I've been playing Ori and the Will of the Wisps on Game Pass. Finally getting into that, and dude, I'm so into it, Eric. I think that it makes some of the stuff that made Ori and the Blind Forest a little weird, and just totally blows it out of the water. I think it's an improvement in so many ways, and I love Ori and the Blind Forest. So it's insane to me that they made it feel this much better.
Yeah, that's good.
I've been super impressed. They've just added so many mechanics. They've kind of redone even just some of the basic mechanics. In Ori and the Blind Forest, you have your X or whatever is kind of your attack, and it's this weird sort of imprecise I don't even know what you want to call it, attack move. But then they replaced it, and in this game you basically have an energy sword kind of thing as your primary attack, dude, and it's so cool. I love this game so much so far. I'm maybe a couple hours in, but yeah, I'm super pumped. Yeah, so I recommend it. We'll have more thoughts on that at some point, I'm sure.
Oh, okay, sweet. Probably next week.
Yeah, next week I think. Eric, you've been playing another game, which is the game of the show, yeah?
I have been putting pretty much all my time into this game. We are not quarantined, don't really have much else to do, and I've only been playing Monster Hunter World.
Bum 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 game of the show. Hell yeah. We're talking about Monster Hunter World. Eric, this is the first time in quite a few podcasts where I have not even played the game of the show.
Yeah.
So you're going to be kind of my subject matter expert here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, how did this all start? Why are you jumping into this old game?
So we'll back up real far, then we'll get to that. So I got this game when it came out. I played the demo of it because I had never played a Monster Hunter before, and so they released a demo on PlayStation before it came out. I think it came out in February of 2018 or something like that.
Yeah, it sounds right.
And so they released a demo in January, and so I played that demo, and I was like, I was hemming and hawing on it. Monster Hunter, a very complicated game to kind of pick up.
Yeah,
And
notoriously like kind of high like learning curve.
yeah, and World dumbs it down a lot compared to old Monster Hunters, but it still has a lot of systems, and the combat system is still, it's not janky, it's complicated, right? And so you have to like learn all these different things. And so when I played the demo, I jumped into it because I saw like a lot of hype for it, and I'm like, I like this, but I just don't think I have the ambition to learn it. And so it came out then, and then like just a lot of people were hyped about it. Some of my streamers I like to watch were playing it, and I'm like, God, because the game looks sweet, like, right? You fight these giant monsters, you have these big ass weapons, and you're just
the premise is cool.
Yeah, and so I'm like, God, it looks awesome. I loved watching. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. So I got it, and then I started learning it, and I found a weapon I really liked, which was the hammer. And so I started using that a lot, and then I got my friend Jake into the game, and so then we started playing it a lot. And the premise of the game is basically you hunt monsters to get loot, right? And it's a gear grinder of a game, so you basically just keep hunting monsters to get better gear, and that's basically the gameplay loop.
Yeah, I feel like all I really know about Monster Hunter is like kill monster, make hat, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's all you really need to know. There's a story in Monster Hunter World too. I'm not really going to get into it. I think this podcast will mostly be about the gameplay and my experience with it, but there is a story, and you kind of experience that. It's an okay story. I wouldn't say it's anything to really write home about.
Yeah, I mean, why are you hunting these monsters, Eric?
Well, you're okay. So we will talk about it. So you go,
I just want to know,
okay.
borderline, like, is there a reason you're hunting the monsters?
Yeah. So you're in a new. You followed this giant monster called Zora Magdaros, who's basically this pretty much a volcano, but he's a monster, and he's come to this place which the game calls the New World, and he's basically come there to die. But if he dies, he becomes like a nuclear bomb and like blows up pretty much. Okay. And so it's your goal to like hunt him down and stop him from blowing up. And in that time, you also hunt some other monsters and get hat.
So have you beaten the game? Like,
yes, I've beaten the game. So here's where Monster Hunter is like insane. So beating the game probably only takes about 30 hours, I'd say, or I guess 40, because my brother's about to come up on beating it. Or beating like all the main assigned story missions. So it takes about 40 hours. And then the real game starts. That's just the story.
I hate to hear that, Eric.
Yeah.
I hate that
yeah,
phrase.
Exactly. And so I played with Jake, my friend Jake. We beat the whole story campaign, and then we continued to play I guess if we're saying it ended at 40, then we played a lot more, because my end clock before I started playing again was at 133 hours.
So you played a lot.
So
you
we
played
a lot.
Basically triple the amount it would take to beat the game.
Mm-hmm. To beat that main story part, because you just go and you hunt and grind and stuff, and so you get your better gear, and then we put it down. And eventually Iceborne comes out, and it came out last September of 2019. But we didn't, I saw it, it looked cool. I mean, I just didn't really, we weren't playing Monster Hunter at that time. Borderlands had just come out, and Destiny was coming out in October. So I wasn't really looking to pick up Monster Hunter again. But it was always there in the back of my mind, you know? It's just like, play Monster.
Love to get back to that one.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously put 133 hours into it, loved it. And then, we have the whole Corona apocalypse happen, and so my brother, who lives in Japan, he never had a PlayStation 4 before, but now he's also stuck at home over there and working like from home and stuff. And he's like, I'm gonna buy a PlayStation because I could get it for super cheap, and I could get a bunch of games. And he had been playing Monster Hunter on Switch, so one of the older ones, or whatever. It's not really one of the older ones, but a Switch version.
Yeah, the one that they recently ported.
Yeah, for Switch. It's not World, but it's whatever the one before World was. And so he had played that one. He had put like 130 or something crazy amount of hours into that game too. And he's like, one of the games I'm gonna get is Monster Hunter, because he loves Monster Hunter. I'm like, sweet. Once you play Monster Hunter, once you play World, you'll never be able to go back to that Switch version.
It's Monster Hunter Generations, by the way.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm like, so once you pick up World, you're never going to be able to go back to Generations. He's like, yeah, okay. Because I have a Switch, and so he wanted me to get Generations, and they have a demo.
Oh, and you're like, no way, I'm not stooping to that level.
Well, no, I tried, because they have a demo version of it on Switch, and so I picked up the demo, but I'm just like, I can't. Because World World adds so many quality of life things and like so many improvements to Monster Hunter that it's so unless I had already played the previous iterations, I can't like just backtrack
Yeah.
into them because I still wouldn't, despite having an insane amount of hours into World, I wouldn't know how to play the older games. So yeah, he finally gets that, and then he gets World with his PlayStation, and so then we just jumped in, pretty much just head first into the game. My character when we started, I think, was around Hunter rank 50, or no, like 55 or something like that. And so now my Hunter rank is, I just got it to 72 today, and I have 177 hours in the game.
So you're playing with your brother, right? And
Yeah.
I assume you're kind of running through the story and stuff with him.
Mm-hmm.
Is there level scaling? Are you just absolutely demolishing everything in the world? Like,
Yeah, so when he first started, I was doing a massive amount of damage because I was basically you basically have 3 different ranks and then in the game. So you have low rank, high rank, and then tempered monsters, right? And then in tempered you have threat levels, but I won't get into that yet.
yeah, we don't need to get that deep. I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah. So in the beginning of the game, you're obviously just fighting a lot of low rank monsters, and so when I'm like high level with high gear, I'm just doing massive amounts of damage to those. And so, and then as we get higher, he eventually gets closer and closer to my level.
Okay. Is it like boring to play like that? I don't know, man. I feel like whenever you jump into like a game where there's this kind of level system and you are just absolutely miles ahead of the other person, I always thought it was kind of like boring for both of us because it's like, oh, you are just absolutely demolishing everything in the world. There's no challenge here, and I'm basically not playing because I'm doing nothing.
Yeah, so with this game, it's not really like that because you're still doing stuff and you're basically just completing the things faster because you're still both doing stuff. Say he's like we're going against whatever monster. I come in and do a lot of damage, but it just means we're finishing the thing faster than if he was having to do it by himself. So like it took me and my friend, or took me and Jake, like it took us like more than 40 hours to beat the main story because we were low level going at things at a lower level than we should have been. Whereas I've been able to just speed my brother through the basically story because I've just come in there. He basically hits no walls, right? Because there's difficulty stops in the story. One of the first ones is like once you hit like 29, I think you have to fight like this monster called the Basil Goose, which is yeah, we call him the Bagel because that's pretty much like what he looks like, but like or sounds like. I don't know. Oh, his name's just close to Bagel. But yeah, he's like one of the first difficulty stops because he's like a really hard monster, and so you have to like grind a bunch of gear, which takes a bunch of time. But because I'm really high level and already past that point, I can just basically brute force our way through that wall.
Okay.
As a hammer, I just break that wall basically for him.
So you're still using the hammer even all this 170 hours later? You're still kind of using the same genre of weapon?
Yeah, so for 100, I just switched. So I played about 171 hours of this game with just the hammer. And then I'm just like, the only reason and I'm not even tired of the hammer. The only reason I switch is because I'm like, I have 170 hours on the same weapon. I should try. There's like 10 weapons in the game. I should try another one. So I just recently switched to the sword and shield because it's very similar to the hammer's playstyle where you get very up in the monster's face and you just do a lot of damage. Where the hammer does just big hits of damage in like a slower pace, the sword and shield does hits of damage at a quicker pace, and so you rack up the damage that way.
So you've been playing this game just nonstop, right? And you obviously have always been playing with people. Do you think that it is the kind of social aspect that makes it so fun, or is this game just really like that satisfying?
I'd say it's a big part of it is playing with other people. I definitely, there was a time where I played this game a lot by myself, and just to grind out gear and do kind of just solo through things. But I'd say the big thing keeping me in it now is definitely being able to talk to my brother or talk to my friend Jake while doing it. Like now I don't even have motivation to get on and play the game unless I'm going to play with someone. Because I mean, I have my gear build right now done, and we'll get into it maybe a little bit later, but Iceborne is out. I haven't gotten Iceborne yet, but Iceborne adds like 30 new monsters, and so it's basically I'm waiting until Zach gets up to level to where we can get Iceborne, and then I'll probably be playing more by myself then, because I'll have new gear to go get. Because like right now, I've hunted all the monsters in base game world, and like done all the things in base game world except for like a few just kind of nitty gritty things. And so it's like I have no real reason to go on and grind by myself.
Yeah. So, well, this is kind of a loot game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it kind of RNG stuff? Like you're killing the monsters and like, hoping they drop good gear, or is it like more you're hunting a bunch of monsters and crafting shit?
So it is RNG based, but monster specific RNG based. So say you want to make your hat, right?
Kill monster, make hat.
Kill monster, make hat. And so you'll know which monster you need to kill to make that hat, but you'll have to do, say you need like a horn, a carapace, and then maybe a gem, and then something else for that hat. And so you could do specific things to get those pieces. So if you break the horn on the monster, you'll get the horn. If you cut the tail off the monster, you'll get the tail, and stuff like that. Where it becomes RNG based is like, if you want a gem from a monster, which is like the rarest thing you can get from a monster, you're just gonna have to hope you get it. Like right now, my brother needs a gem from Nergigante, one of the elder dragons, and we've hunted about 30 of them, and I've gotten 5 gems, and he hasn't gotten a single one.
And you can't give him one?
And I can't give him one. It's just entirely RNG based.
I do really like the concept that I need the horn, like I need to break the horn off to get it. I think that's way like more interesting than kill a monster, wait for him to drop gem or what, right? Like that seems like it makes you kind of play in a very specific way, I'd assume.
Yeah, and that's the cool part. I think what makes the game really good is the monsters are very fun to fight, and they're dynamic fights. I literally just learned this a little bit ago, but they were talking, Capcom was talking about how like the monsters are programmed, and so the monsters basically read to make them feel more alive, they basically read your inputs you're putting in the controller, so that the programming in the monster can respond accordingly, to make them like seem like they're actually fighting you. Because like in Monster Hunter, like you do a lot of charge up attacks, but like there's a good chance the monster is gonna move, and so that's basically why the monster is basically dodging your attack, because it's like paying attention to the actual fight by reading your inputs, which is really cool, I think.
So would you say it's not so much like, in a lot of these kind of games, I feel like it's like memorized animation, right? Like, the dragon's about to do his big fire breathe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, there still is that kind of Souls aspect of like being able to like read their movements and respond accordingly. I think that's still a big part of it.
Yeah, I mean that's just any action.
Yeah,
game,
but
really.
that's how exactly. You get good at anything is by reading how they're behaving and what they're gonna do. And like so like Nergigante has this big move that will rickroll you basically if he gets it off, where he jumps up into the sky and flies and then does this dive bomb hit at you. But you can tell he does it because he takes like a few seconds in the air, which gives you enough time to get a flash bomb out to stun him and get him back on the ground so he doesn't just destroy you.
So there's all these crazy monsters, right? These elder dragons and stuff. Does it feel like a really cool spectacle to fight these huge things, or like, I mean, I'm sure at this point it's sort of by the numbers, but like, is it like, I guess I'm just curious more about the monsters. How big are these dragons? Are they giant? Does it feel like there's this grand sense of scale?
Yeah, so it varies between monster to monster, what size they are, but like there's monsters that are maybe like four times your character size, and then there's monsters that are 10 times your character size, and then there's monsters that are like 20 times your character size. So I feel like
so they get pretty big.
Yeah, they get pretty big, and so I feel like it does always have. I have even 170 hours in, I'm like, I still have moments where like, damn, this looks really cool. Like what's happening is like really cool. Because it's basically like you're fighting Godzilla in Monster Hunter, and like you're trying to kill him, and like you jump up and get on him, and then you're just like stabbing him, and he's just like rampaging you to try and get you off and stuff. And so like I feel like there's just really cinematic moments that happen, even because with the weapons too, I think, because the weapons kind of have these very anime-ass like animations, Like, yeah. There's like basically these they're called dual blades. I call them the Chaos Blades because they look like Kratos's chaos blades.
Yeah.
And like they do like this sick ass like spin move where you can ride down the spine of the monster's back and onto his tail, like all the while that your character's like spinning.
Oh,
And doing
I think
this,
I've seen this. That's really cool.
doing like this kind of sweet animation. And so like I feel like everything in the game is like designed to like make you feel like a badass because you're hunting this giant creature.
Okay. So is the combat is it mostly kind of hack and slashy, right? You run up to the monster, you slash him, you dodge his attack, you slash, or do you feel like there is that kind of like, I need to get on his back and I need to whatever? I guess I am just kind of curious about how the combat plays out.
Well, there's combos that you can do with each weapon, and so usually if you're playing, I mean, I'm pretty much always, you're going to try to maximize your damage to the monster, right? Or to like whatever you want to do. Say you need to cut off his tail, you'll be using like a sword weapon and like just be focusing on doing damage to the monster's tail. And so like you'll just be trying to do your max combos that get your most damage off onto the tail, just so you can pretty much guarantee you'll get the tail off. And so the combos aren't complicated on any weapon. It's not like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter where you're doing like down, quarter circle, square, triangle, X. Like it's nothing like that. It's mostly just like triangle, triangle, circle, circle, R2, circle, triangle, triangle, R2. Like they're really basic.
Okay.
It only revolves around circle, triangle, and R2 if you're on PlayStation. I don't know what buttons it would be on PC or Xbox, but like it's only usually those 3 buttons that you have to do. And then it's a lot of timing with your character. Like certain weapons, you'll have to like look at animations to like pay attention to your animations so you can do even more damage. And then other weapons have like gauges that you have to fill to do even more damage that way.
Eric, 170 hours, a long time to put into a video game, right?
Yeah.
You know it pretty well at that point.
Yeah.
Is there anything about this game that just makes you so mad? At this point, you're so into it, like, you know what I mean? Is there any like real big frustrations or pain points?
I mean, just like fighting monsters and then like dying will always make me rage a little bit. I'm trying to think if there's anything that just like, there is like, cause so there's a hub world, right? And that's basically where you upgrade your character's armor, you talk to people, like get quests and like stuff like that. And the hub world is basically, it's cool, but it's like really big. And I don't know if they fix this in Ice World, but like all the things you need to like get to before you depart on your quest are just like far away from each other. And like you need to hit them all before you go do the thing. And so it's like, it's just annoying to have to like fast travel through like this world to try to get to like all your things before you need to leave. But
yeah, so there's this isn't really like an open world game, right? Like there's kind of this hub, and you go around the hub, and then from then you kind of embark on these quests and then and so in that sense, then they can kind of make the like arena that you're gonna fight the monster in.
Well, it's pseudo open world, right? Because it's basically it's a hub world and then like 5 different maps, and I don't know if Iceborne adds another map or something. But and so you have the hub world, and that's where you do all your stuff, and then you depart on your quest, and you go to one of the maps for depending on which monster you're hunting, and it's basically like fast traveling because you don't actually have to go there, but it'll just bring you to that area, and then you need to explore there. And exactly, then you have to explore and find the monster, and like then you fight in that giant area, and the monster will run away and like do all this stuff that makes the fight more dynamic.
Okay. Is navigating the world and like finding the monsters fun? I don't know, because if the whole point is to kind of track down the monsters and get them and stuff, I can't imagine it's there's not a whole lot in the world going on, right? Like you're not just gonna randomly find people and stuff to talk to, I assume. So is moving around the world and doing that fun?
Yeah, so it does kind of this cool thing where you basically research the monster as you like hunt it down, right? Throughout the whole game. So you have this
I found an egg or whatever.
Yeah, you have this research level that keeps going up as you find more and more stuff about this monster. And like so you can like pick up so how you find the monster in the world is you like pick up on its footprints, and then you follow these glow flies that will lead you next footprint to the next footprint to the next footprint until you get to the monster. And so you do that a lot of that in the beginning of the game. But as you get those research points higher and have a lot of stuff about the monster, you'll eventually just start spawning into the worlds with the monster already on your map. So you can just go straight there, or like your glowflies will lead you just straight there, which is super nice because like that gets super old 170 hours in if I have to jump in and look for this monster every single time.
Okay.
You also learn because they are programmed to like have habits, I'd say, or go to certain areas, and so you also learn the world and like where this monster will hang out. So like, I don't even like if we are fighting a Rathian in the ancient forest, and when it's like leaving to go sleep to get some health, I don't really need to look at the map or follow my glowflies to go know where it's going because I fought 30 of them already. I know where he's gonna be.
Okay. Eric, finally, I kind of want to know about just is there like a biggest triumph that you've had in this game? Is there a favorite monster you've had to fight? Set the scene for me. You know, what's like the coolest thing you've done in this game?
I don't know. It's 170 hours blends together. One of my favorite fights though, or I guess cutscenes in the game, is the Teuster cutscene. He's basically this giant fire lion. What's like the Greek thing where it's like has a lion's face, bat wings?
A griffin?
No, it has bat wings and then.
Oh, I sort of know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like a snake's tail.
Yeah.
It's like something with an M.
Yeah, I know. I literally know what you're talking about. Manticore?
Manticore, yes. He's basically this
Manticore.
Manticore. He doesn't have a snake's tail, but he has like the giant wings. And then,
scorpion tail or whatever.
Yeah, but he just has a regular tail. The Teuster does.
Okay.
And so he's like this fire lion dragon, and you go fight him in this area that's basically inside a volcano. And so there's all this lava all around. And when you're looking for him for the first time, once you finally get close enough, it'll activate a cutscene where he basically bursts out of this like water or lava fall and like come through it and then just roar. And it's just like this super cool moment. And then his fight's pretty fun too, because he's like doing all these explosions and stuff and doing all these fire moves, and fire always just looks cool. And so it's like, sure. It felt like a super cinematic fight the first time you fight him.
You know what's funny, Eric? The only reason I knew that is because recently, you know, that Pixar movie Onward released, and one of the characters in the movie is a Manticore.
Oh, nice.
Well, she's the Manticore.
Oh, she's the only Manticore. One. Okay.
Yeah, so you should watch that movie. It's on Disney Plus. Pretty good.
I don't have Disney.
I like it a lot. Well, oh yeah. Well, you can. I'll give you my login. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I want to watch Watchmen on HBO, so we'll do like a little.
There we go. Then we'll just do a little switcheroo.
Yeah. Yeah, but Eric, I want to switch gears a little bit, and I want to have a hot topic.
Go for
yesterday.
It.
This was yesterday, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
This would be Tuesday?
Yeah, that sounds about
right. April 7th. PlayStation shadow drops the PS5 controller.
Yeah, just in a blog post. They just released
just in a blog post. I got on Twitter and I start seeing pictures and I'm like, is this real? And people are like linking the blog post. I'm like, they just fucking announced it in a blog post?
Yeah.
Same day as the Inside Xbox, which I thought was like a weird, like kind of a shady move, right? Mm-hmm. And I just want to talk about this thing, Eric. What was your initial reaction when you saw it?
I was confused. I mean, maybe not confused. I don't know. I don't hate the design of the controller. I just think it looks weird. Having seen people's Photoshops, God, I hope they allow you to customize this thing and have an Xbox game controller lab. Because PS4 Trophies, at PS4 Trophies on Twitter, compiled like all of these Photoshops. I don't know if he made them or if like people were tweeting them at him. But like all these like these different color schemes on these controllers, and they all look gorgeous. I don't really hate because I don't hate the shape of the controller. I mostly just hate the jarring amount of white on there, and I hate.
Yeah,
I don't like the clear buttons either with it, like the clear thumb pad and the clear face buttons. Like I don't like those. But like someone did a Photoshop where it's the white with the black, like how it is the controller is, but they just changed the face buttons to just be like the normal face buttons, like all like these.
Okay, and it looked better.
Yeah,
you thought?
and I'm like, that looks way better.
You know what's funny? I actually thought the face buttons were my favorite thing about it. I always thought that like the colored face buttons were a little ugly.
Maybe I'm partial because like I've grown up on PlayStation. It's always been these buttons. It's always been those, and so like it should stay that way.
But I don't know, man. My first thought was like, this can't be real, right? And then I was like, it is, and it just sort of to me looks like what like a movie, like, you know, you watch like a movie and it's supposed to be like in the, like a little bit in the future, and they're like, we're playing the GameCube, like the the Game Box 400 or whatever, and like this looks like that controller to me.
Yeah,
like just
some
a futuristic movie controller.
some kind of future design.
And it's weird because like logistically, it's not that different than the DualShock 4, right? It's
just
like a little
DualShock basically put on an Xbox controller. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's like a little thicker right in the middle, and I just think it's the color scheme mostly that kind of grates on me.
Yeah, me
That,
too.
like the white, like all white, dude. I think this one thing would look slick, but the white and the black, little weird.
Yeah, the color scheme is the only thing I really don't like about it. Other than that, I mean, how does it feel in your hands? We're not going to know until we get it.
Yeah. I mean, listen. I'm sure it'll be fine, right? Like the DualShock 4 is fine, and this is essentially the same thing.
Yeah,
right.
I
I do really like the light bar. I think that adding it sort of under the touchpad is kind of a dope.
Yeah, I like that
idea.
too. I mean, I feel like the light bar is by none just kind of useless, and I feel like it's probably going to be kind of useless on there too. But it just adds a cool aesthetic thing. Whereas like with these controllers, they did add the little light bar like that shows up right here.
Yeah, that like in the top right.
But like this is useless. You never see this unless you're playing like in the absolute dark.
Yeah. Yeah, and even then, it's like a huge battery drainer too, dude. I hope this thing has a good battery because the DualShock 4 battery, not that good.
Yeah, this thing goes, especially if you plug in a headphones into it and like are using a headset, it'll be dead instantly. Like you need to have it plugged in also.
Yeah, man. And they also, what do you think about the name, the DualSense?
I guess it makes sense. Once I read the blog post, it makes a little bit more sense to me because of all that.
Yeah, because it's all the haptic feedback stuff, right? Which is not, I don't know, when they were talking about like, they kind of like got around it, right? Like they were talking about like, this controller is going to change the way that you know, the feeling of feeling and touch, you know, in video games or whatever. And then it's just like, oh, we're doing like haptic feedback or whatever, which I'm like, that's a thing that's been...
Well, the cool thing that they are doing that I thought was interesting is they're adding like the feedback in the triggers.
Yeah,
so
but I think the Xbox controller has that.
Does it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I'm almost positive.
Oh, well then never mind.
So then I'm like, that's just not that exciting to me. I don't know.
And also, I was wondering, it sounds really cool in theory, but like I wonder how annoying it is.
Yeah, right. Like the 100th time or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what? I think that'll be fine. Yeah. I think that some developers are going to use that in cool ways, right? And I don't have any beef with it. I just feel like DualSense kind of suggests this grand removal from, you know, they have the DualShock 4, right? And like the DualSense kind of suggests that it's like this huge break in format, right? Like this is a brand new controller. We're getting rid of anything from the DualShock and we're starting over, right? But like it's not. It's a very similar controller, you know.
I mean, the DualShock 4 is their best controller yet, so I mean, I don't know if they want to get rid of it. I know there was a big thread on Reddit that made it to the front page where the DualShock has this huge problem where if you set it down, it sets down on the
triggers will press.
And the DualSense also has that problem, and so I saw a lot of people complaining about that.
Yeah, dude, that's super annoying. I don't know how much you watch like TV or anything on your PS4, but I have mine like in my room, and it's constant. You set the controller down, and immediately it's like fast forwarding or whatever. Very annoying.
I don't know. I feel like I watched a pretty good amount of Netflix, and I don't think I run into that problem that much. I don't know. I guess maybe it's just the way I set a controller down. I don't know. Who knows? I feel like that's not really that big a problem to me.
Here's the thing, though, Eric. I can imagine this thing, the white being purple, and then on the touchpad, you know, the little mic boy, and we would have ourselves a grand late for embargo controller, I think.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they need to just have the Xbox controller game lab or whatever it's called for this DualSense, and it'll be.
I have been super like surprised that they haven't. I mean, they've released like a lot more colors, right, in the past couple of years, but that Xbox Design Lab is like sick. Yeah. I really can't believe they haven't copied it.
Yeah, I know. So here's my biggest issue is this is the out of the box controller, right? They're going to release plenty of colors with this thing, I'm sure, eventually, unless they do hopefully they do the Design Lab too. But my biggest concern now is the PS5 going to be white? Because I don't like white stuff.
I was wondering. You don't like whites?
No.
I love white tech.
Yeah,
like this Yeti mic that I have, I specifically got a white one. Like I thought that would look dope. And it does.
I don't know. I don't like white tech, and so I
think it will be. I think it'd be really weird to look at a PS5 if it is black, totally black, and this is a white control. Like I don't like.
Yeah, that's true.
I just feel like visually that's not cohesive, right? I think it'll have a very similar color scheme.
Yeah, it's also weird. Why didn't they? It seems like I don't know. This controller announcement came out of just like out of the blue, and I feel like it would have been fine to just show the controller with the box, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know, man. That's why I wanted to talk about too, just the format of the way that they released this info. It, like, just kind of shadow. This is how they've done pretty much every PS5 announcement, like a random. What website was that they announced that initial? It wasn't. I can't remember what website they did that initial announcement on. Just like tech stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like every like sort of drop about the PS5 has been super
Lackluster.
nonchalant almost. Here's a new blog post. This is the new controller.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's just like, if there's any correlation between hype and actual sales, you know?
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe they were like, oh, let's just not do a huge blowout event, right?
Yeah.
Save us a ton of money.
Yeah, exactly. Like, are people gonna just buy this? Like, do we actually need all this hype for a console that, I mean, I'm gonna buy it anyway. Like, I'm already a person that's gonna buy it. I don't really need the sales or like all the pitch, like all the things to like hype me up for it if I'm already gonna get it, you know?
I was thinking about it, dude, because I think that this is sort of genius almost. Like, I'm not, some marketing director guy, but like I just feel like every time they kind of just drop this info, it totally takes over the internet, right? Like, and all day on Twitter yesterday, I wasn't seeing anything about Inside Xbox. I was only seeing this, the DualSense.
I didn't even know there was an Inside Xbox yesterday.
Exactly. And so I feel like that's kind of cool, right? Like that it could just come at any moment, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't need some big reveal event.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see the box, I think, pretty soon here. Yeah. Probably around E3
because I mean, all the people who are interested are going to be, all up on it, and the people who aren't are going to, they'll see the posters or whatever when the launch is going to be coming, or they'll watch the commercials on TV and stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they have their PlayStation event or like whatever their what's the PlayStation one called, like their little
PSX.
No, what's like their Inside Xbox Nintendo thing.
What did they call it? I don't even remember.
Yeah,
dude.
I don't know.
Direct Sony? No, it's not a direct. That's a Nintendo direct.
Yeah, whatever that's called. Whenever they have their like E3 one, right? The one they'll have around E3, I'm assuming. I feel like very good possibility we see the box then. If they show the controller like this month, like.
Dude, we live in such strange times. We haven't even talked. We didn't talk about it because it came out. The news came out the day after we recorded that The Last of Us The Last of Us 2 was delayed, and from I think Xbox and PlayStation have basically both said that this coronavirus will likely not affect the dates that their boxes are going to go out. But like, dude, games are going to start getting pushed. I think this is going to be a really weird year.
Yeah, I feel like Ghost of Tsushima will still be pushed. Maybe,
yeah, I think so too.
In November. And then, yeah, we'll see. Gonna be interesting.
Weird time, man. But yeah, I'm not down on the controller really. I think it's cool. It is a little odd to me. Like it wasn't what I expected, right? Did you see the Photoshop that was going around that people actually thought was real for a while with the all black version?
I've seen the one that basically looks like a regular DualShock.
Yeah. I thought that was an like I was like, oh that looks better. Like that looks
like
normal.
Literally my only problem with the controller is the color scheme.
Yeah, and again, I really like the transparent buttons. I think those are dope. So yeah, man, I saw a lot of people making funny jokes. It looks like the Wii Fit trainer and like just all these like funny comparisons and stuff.
Oh yeah. People
have been photoshopping to say that it's like a bra, like the two light bar things like look like a strap, right?
Yeah.
And like I saw someone do the Photoshop of that, and like it literally those look like arms, like the controller. What do you call those? The parts that stick out.
Oh, these parts? I don't know. The handles, I guess.
yeah. I don't know, man. I was like, oh, what do you call those?
I don't know. I did see Brian Altano photoshopped it with the very nice guy. What's his name? Whatever. I don't know. Where he's wearing the banana strap, and so the rest of it's like his chest, and then the part that was like right there is like the green banana strap.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because I feel like the Xbox 360 to Xbox One controller was like a huge change, right? Like that thing was way different, and the DualShock, the PlayStation 3 controller to the DualShock 4 was like, I thought again very different, but it seems like we've kind of hit the point where it's like this is it now, right?
Yeah.
Like even the Xbox One controller is like barely.
Yeah,
different,
I don't
dude.
think Xbox is gonna release a new controller.
No, they are. It's a new controller. It's got like a share button.
Oh,
because they didn't. Remember they didn't have that.
Oh, is that it?
And they're adding like textured grips to it, which I think it look pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah. So literally, they're just changing the look and how the controller like holds in your hand. Really.
Yeah.
and buttons.
You ever think about it though? I don't know, man. I kind of miss when controllers used to be just buck wild. You know, the N64 one just had to have 3 hands to use
I mean,
it,
the fucking Wii controller, which was with that thing, and then if you wanted an analog stick, you had to plug in that nunchuck. That thing
oh
was
my
a
god,
thing.
do you remember, dude? What a scam.
Yeah.
What an absolute scam. Why wouldn't it come with a thing that almost all of the games need?
Yeah, I don't know. The Wii was a weird
Stupid.
console.
Eric, do you have like a favorite controller? You know, it doesn't have to be the best, but like what, like just one that you like have a special place for your heart in.
Like a weird one?
Well, it doesn't have to be weird.
I don't know.
It could literally be like, oh, this is the best one, or like, oh, I love this because it's weird.
I don't know. I can't think of one. I mean, the DualShock is what I use most of my life.
Yeah.
Like the 2, and then the 3, and then the 4. So.
Do you have a preference? Obviously, I am assuming you have the preference, but I've seen a lot of people putting out polls. Like Greg Miller and Ryan McCaffrey both put out polls about offset sticks versus parallel sticks. Do you have a?
I like parallel.
Really?
But again, I grew up on this, so like of course I'm gonna like parallel.
Yeah, see, and I mean, I had a PS2 and then I had an Xbox 360, and then now I have both. But I really do. I think the Xbox One controller is just the best thing. I think it's so good. I love that controller so much, and I am surely an offset stick guy.
I don't know. I feel like it's just a little uncomfortable for me to do offset.
Yeah,
whereas parallel is just like,
in both those polls though, dude. Like offset was a winner in both of them.
Yeah. Well, Ryan McCaffrey did say it would swing his way, but then I guess Greg proved him wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know, man. I'm super excited to get my hands on it. I think it looks comfortable at least. Like I think you can get past the whatever color scheme and stuff as long as the thing is like good to hold.
Yeah, exactly.
And people really talk about their DualShock 4s like breaking down and stuff though, and like wearing off those thumbsticks super quick.
I mean, this one, the one I've been showing, is fine because this one's newer. Or I impulse bought this one when we went to saw our friend Adam, and we needed another controller.
Yeah, we literally just needed a controller to play Dragon Ball, and you're like, I'm just gonna get one.
But I've had this one since launch, and I had to get these things because the analog stick just rubbed off completely. That one's not a good example.
Yeah. So I do hope that there is like a quality difference, but it really does look like the same thumbsticks, dude.
I mean this
one, I mean obviously I don't know what they built it out of, but it just
I don't know
looks
if you can see it, but there's literally just none of the rubber left on this one. And it's not like I play insanely aggressive because like this one holding up fine, not had any problems. But like I don't know what like caused these ones to just have that rubber chip off.
Oh, you know what else is weird, dude? We didn't even talk about they're putting a microphone in the controller. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's weird.
I feel like that's gonna be like I just feel like someone's gonna be like, yep, PlayStation's always listening. There's gonna be like a report like hackers listening to you constantly.
Well, I can't wait to jump in an online game and hear some 12-year-old with this shitty quality mic and the controller just be yelling about something, you know?
Yeah, like absolutely just profanities and stuff, and you're like, oh my god,
I don't need to hear.
So
this.
I think they should stop putting microphones in things.
They really should. Mics are cheaper than they've ever been, obviously because they're putting them in everything. But like, you could easily get a high quality mic for $40, $20.
When we play games, I'm literally just using like my Apple headphones or whatever plugged in, and as far as I know, it's fine.
Yeah, it's been fine. I mean, it's not crazy quality. It doesn't sound like these mics, but it gets the job done. I can hear you, and I don't hate hearing you, so that I feel like that works. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Interesting.
Yeah.
We will see what happens from there. Anyways, this has been the Generic Gaming Podcast.mp3. Thank you so much for listening. Please tune in next week when Cloud Strife comes on the show to give us hairstyling tips. Anyways, we love you unless you suck, in which case we don't, and you should probably work on that. Bye.
You didn't say the thing. Say the thing.
Have a good one.